What if everything you've ever believed about yourself, your name, your memories, your identity, was nothing more than an illusion? What if the story of your birth and the inevitability of your death were just that? A story, a misunderstanding of the deepest truth. It may sound unthinkable, even unsettling, but what if I told you that beyond these stories lies a truth so profound, so boundless, that it transcends everything you've ever been taught to believe about yourself? You were never born. You'll never truly die. Not in the way the mind imagines. This isn't just a riddle or a philosophical curiosity. It's a doorway to your true nature, a nature that is infinite, timeless, and untouched by the limits of identity or thought. Today, we'll begin a journey to peel back the layers of illusion that cloud the essence of who you are. Together, we'll explore the myth of separateness, examine the illusion of self, and discover the timeless awareness that has always been here, silently present at the heart of your existence. Take a moment. Breathe deeply. Let the noise of the mind fade to the background, like waves receding into the ocean. What lies ahead is not about adding something new, but uncovering what has always been, the infinite, still presence that is you. Let's begin. From the moment we take our first breath, a narrative begins, a story we are told about who we are. It says we were born at a certain time and place, that we are separate individuals navigating the world, and that one day this life, as we know it, will end. But what if this story, so deeply ingrained in our minds, is just an illusion? What if the ideas of birth and death are merely constructs, a lens through which we misunderstand the truth of what we are? Imagine the waves crashing onto a shore. Each wave appears unique, with its own rise and fall. We give it shape, a beginning, and an end. But if you look closer, you'll see there is no real separation between the wave and the ocean. The wave is simply the ocean in motion. It is neither born nor does it die. It is a temporary expression of something infinite. In the same way, you are not a finite being, defined by a beginning and an end. You are not the wave. You are the ocean itself, vast, timeless, and boundless. The concepts of birth and death are not the edges of your existence. They are merely transformations in the infinite flow of awareness. This understanding challenges everything we hold on to, our name, our story, our identity. But what happens if we let go of these illusions, even for a moment? The fear of loss begins to dissolve. How can you lose what was never separate in the first place? Think of holding a cup of water. It's easy to think of the water as separate from the ocean. But when you pour it back into the sea, where does it go? Can you pinpoint the exact moment it stops being water in the cup and becomes part of the ocean? The truth is, it was never separate to begin with. Only our perception made it seem so. You may say, "This is my body, my mind, my life." But let's look deeper. The cells in your body are constantly changing. The body you inhabit today is not the same as it was 10 years ago. Even your thoughts are transient, fleeting like clouds drifting across the sky. If your body and thoughts are always changing, how can they define who you truly are? Amidst the chaos of daily life, there's a voice that never seems to stop, a voice in your head that narrates everything you see and do. It whispers, "I am this, I need that, I feel this way." This voice is what we call the ego. But have you ever stopped to ask, what is the ego really? At first glance, the ego feels like the essence of who you are, a central self that defines your identity. It claims ownership of your thoughts, your actions, and even your worth. But when you take a closer look, something surprising emerges. The ego is not solid, real, or permanent. It is a construct, a story built from fragments of memories, fleeting thoughts, and shifting desires. Think of the ego as a patchwork quilt, sewn together from all the things you believe about yourself. It tells you, "This is my body, my mind, my life," but the truth is, the ego exists only in thought. It is not a fixed entity, it is a narrative you've been conditioned to believe. Let's test this for ourselves. Take a moment to close your eyes. Bring to mind the thought, I am me. Focus on this thought and examine it. Where does it come from? Does it feel solid and undeniable? Or does it feel like just another passing thought, floating in the space of your awareness? Now look for the I that claims ownership of this thought. Can you find it? Is it located in your body, in your head? Or is it just absent? When you truly search for the I, something profound happens. You realize it isn't there. The I you thought you were is nothing more than an idea, a concept, a bundle of thoughts that come and go. But you, the one who notices these thoughts, you remain. This is the root of so much of our suffering, identifying with the ego, the false sense of a separate self. The ego clings to stories of who you think you are, who you want to be, and what you fear to lose. It creates endless striving and comparison, reinforcing the illusion of separateness from the world around you. But here's the truth: you are not your ego. You are the awareness in which the ego arises. You are not the story. You are the silent witness to it. Let's go deeper into this awareness. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs and leaving your body. Don't try to control it, just observe it. Notice how effortlessly it flows, like the rhythm of the waves in the ocean. Now, shift your attention to the awareness that is observing your breath. This awareness is not doing anything. It's not trying to change or achieve anything. It is simply watching. It is still, silent, and unchanging. This awareness is your true nature. It has been with you all along, silently present in every moment of your life. It is not limited by the ego's stories of I am this or I need that. It is vast, free, and boundless. When you step back and rest in this awareness, the ego's grip begins to loosen. The endless striving, the constant need to defend or prove yourself, it all begins to fade. The thoughts and desires of the ego are still there, but they no longer define you. They are like clouds drifting across the sky, while you remain the vast, infinite sky itself. So here's a simple practice for the next time the ego takes hold. Pause. Take a deep breath. Notice the awareness that is observing your breath. Rest in that space of stillness. And remember, you are not the thoughts, not the stories, not the ego. You are the awareness in which all these things arise and dissolve. This is the beginning of freedom, the freedom to live without the illusion of the ego, to see the world and yourself as they truly are, interconnected, limitless, and free. Pause for a moment and take in the beauty of this scene. The mountains, the forests, the rivers, they've been here long before us, and they will remain long after. They are timeless, yet ever-changing. They remind us of a truth we often forget. Beneath the movement of life, there is a stillness, a constancy that never wavers. This stillness is awareness. It is the unchanging backdrop of all that you experience. Thoughts come and go, emotions rise and fall, yet awareness remains, silently observing it all. It is the thread that runs through every moment of your life, untouched by the chaos of the mind or the drama of the world. Think of awareness as the river bed beneath the flowing water. The water rushes, ripples, and crashes, constantly in motion, yet the river remains steady, unshaken, and ever-present. In the same way, awareness is the foundation of your being. It does not change, no matter how turbulent the surface of your life may seem. Now, let's contrast this with the transient nature of our experiences. Consider your thoughts. They arise spontaneously, linger for a moment, and then fade. One moment you're lost in worry. The next you're dreaming of the future. Each thought feels urgent, important. But how many can you remember from even an hour ago? Emotions, too, are like passing clouds. Joy, anger, sadness, they sweep through you like storms, intense but impermanent. They feel all-consuming in the moment, yet eventually they dissipate, leaving only the clear sky of your awareness behind. And yet, despite their fleeting nature, we often identify so deeply with these experiences. I am happy, I am angry, I am afraid. But are you really? Or are these just states passing through the awareness that is always there, silently witnessing it all? This brings us to an important realization. You are not the waves of thought and emotion. You are the ocean itself, vast, still, and infinite. The waves are part of you, but they do not define you. They rise and fall, but they never diminish the fullness of the ocean. So how do we live as the ocean, not the wave? It begins with a simple practice: awareness. The next time you feel overwhelmed by thoughts or emotions, pause, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, who is experiencing this? Who is watching? Shift your attention from the content of your experience to the awareness observing it. When you do this, you'll notice something extraordinary. The thoughts and emotions lose their grip on you. They may still be present, but they no longer feel personal. They are simply waves moving across the surface, while you remain the vast, still ocean beneath. Let me share a story with you, a story of someone who came to this realization in the midst of everyday life. There was a woman, a mother of two, who often felt overwhelmed by the constant demands of work and family. She believed she was failing, caught in a cycle of self-doubt and guilt. One evening, as she sat alone, she decided to try something different. Instead of getting lost in her thoughts, she simply observed them. She noticed the voice in her mind saying, "I'm not good enough." And instead of arguing with it, she asked, "Who is hearing this voice? Who is watching?" In that moment, something shifted. She realized that the voice of self-doubt was not her. It was just a thought, arising and fading like a passing wave. Beneath it, she felt a deep stillness, a presence that was calm, unshaken, and infinite. From that day forward, she began to live with a new perspective. Challenges still arose, but she no longer identified with the waves of thought and emotion. She rested in the ocean of awareness, and in doing so, discovered a freedom she never thought possible. Her story is not unique. It's a reminder that this stillness, this awareness, is always available to us, no matter how turbulent life may seem. You don't need to change who you are or what you do to experience this. You only need to remember that you are not the wave, you are the ocean. Awareness is your true nature, and it is always here, waiting for you to turn toward it. So let's pause again. Breathe deeply. Feel the stillness within you. And remember, no matter what rises or falls in your life, you are the vast, infinite presence in which it all unfolds. Imagine for a moment what life would be like if you could let go of the constant need to define yourself. No more striving to prove who you are. No more fear of how others perceive you. No more clinging to a fragile sense of identity. Instead, you move through the world with ease, as if the boundaries between you and everything else have dissolved. This is the freedom that comes from living without a separate self. When you release attachment to the self-concept, the story of me, you discover a profound truth. Life flows effortlessly, just as it always has. You no longer feel the weight of defending an identity, achieving a future, or holding on to the past. When the idea of I dissolves, relationships transform. Without the ego, there's no longer a need to protect or promote yourself. You can meet others without the filter of judgment or expectation, seeing them as they truly are, expressions of the same awareness that flows through you. Consider this. How often do conflicts arise because of the ego's need to be right, to feel valued, or to avoid being hurt? When the ego is no longer in charge, those conflicts lose their power. You respond to others not from a place of defensiveness, but from a deep sense of openness and connection. This perspective also transforms how you face challenges. Without the ego telling you, "This is happening to me," you begin to see difficulties for what they are, temporary waves in the ocean of life. Challenges become opportunities to grow, not threats to your identity and emotions. They, too, take on a new quality. When anger arises, for example, it no longer feels like a defining part of you. Instead, it becomes an energy moving through your awareness. It's like watching a storm roll across the sky, intense but impermanent. Here's an exercise to try the next time you feel anger or any strong emotion. Pause. Close your eyes and ask yourself, who is angry? Don't settle for the surface answer. Look deeply. Where is this I that claims the anger? Is it in your body? In your mind? Or is it nowhere to be found? As you search, something remarkable happens. The anger loses its grip. It doesn't disappear, but you see it for what it is, a passing wave, not a part of who you are. You realize that the awareness observing the anger is untouched by it, just as the sky remains unscathed by the storm. Living without a separate self doesn't mean you become detached or indifferent. On the contrary, it makes you more present, more alive. You feel emotions fully, but without identifying with them. You engage with the world deeply, but without the baggage of a false identity. Imagine this: someone criticizes you. In the past, the ego might have reacted, defending itself, feeling hurt, or retaliating. But now, without the ego's interference, the criticism becomes just another event, like a leaf falling from a tree. It doesn't stick to you because there's no you to take it personally. This shift doesn't require effort. It only requires seeing clearly. The more you observe, the more you realize that life doesn't need the ego to function. Your heart beats, your breath flows, and your mind thinks, all without the need for a controlling me. So, how do you begin living without a separate self? Start small. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause. Take a deep breath and ask, who is overwhelmed? Look for the self at the center of the experience. What you'll find is space, vast, open, and free. From this space, you begin to see life as it truly is, interconnected, flowing, and without boundaries. You're not a wave separate from the ocean. You are the ocean expressing itself as a wave. Living without a separate self isn't about abandoning your individuality or ignoring your responsibilities. It's about seeing through the illusion of separateness and realizing that life is not something happening to you. It is something happening through you. Take a moment now to sit with this. Breathe. Feel the aliveness within you and around you. Notice the awareness that is always present, quietly witnessing everything. This is who you truly are, not a person clinging to a story, but the vast, limitless awareness in which the story unfolds. This is freedom. This is peace. And it has always been here, waiting for you to recognize it. Here we are, at the end of this journey, and yet, perhaps it feels more like a beginning. Together, we've traveled through the layers of illusion, peeling back the stories that shape our sense of self. We've questioned the ego, examined the concept of being unborn, and explored the vast, timeless awareness that lies at the heart of your being. Along the way, we've uncovered a profound truth: that you are not the thoughts you think, the emotions you feel, or the roles you play. You are the awareness in which all these experiences arise and dissolve, the infinite ocean, not the fleeting waves. This awareness is not something you need to find or create. It's not something far away or hidden. It is here, now, closer than your breath, more constant than any thought. The awareness you've been seeking has always been with you, silently present, waiting for you to notice. So, I invite you to sit with this truth. Let it unfold naturally, like the rising of the sun or the blooming of a flower. There is no need to rush or strive. Simply rest in the knowing that you are already whole, already free, already infinite. And as you go about your day, carry this awareness with you. Observe your thoughts, your emotions, your interactions, but do so with the understanding that they do not define you. They are waves on the surface, while you remain the vast, still ocean beneath. This journey is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been. You are not the story, the labels, or the roles. You are awareness itself, boundless, timeless, and free. If this video has sparked something within you, a question, a realization, or even a sense of stillness, I encourage you to share your reflections in the comments below. Your insights could inspire others on their journey. And if you'd like to continue exploring the nature of awareness, the illusions of the mind, and the timeless truth of who you are, be sure to subscribe to Inner Alchemy. Together, we'll continue uncovering the beauty of existence, one realization at a time.